Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome everyone to our next session of Meet the Members of Empower Africa. I'm excited and honored to host this terrific podcast. My name is Joel Musongela. I'm the Community Growth Manager at Empower Africa. We're going to have more and more of these now as our business community is growing. We have over 393 members at this moment in time, and we are growing. We're going to have this event once a week now. Next week on Monday, August the 23rd, and same time every Monday at 5 p.m. Central African Time. Before I present our distinguished guest, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, Empower Africa is a business community with a mission to drive investment, trade, and job creation in Africa. We believe in trade over aid, and that business is the best way to build and create sustainable and scalable solutions. We believe in bringing good people together, in the power of synergy. Our goal is to create connections, optimize communication, and maximize collaboration. The business community brings together SMEs and startups, investors, banks, PEs, VCs, family offices, governments, multinational enterprise, and many more, all in one place. Here is a short video that explains it well.
There is so much potential for a business to succeed in Africa. When looking to grow or enter into a new market, it's always more successful when you have the right partners and a supportive community. Empower Africa is a business community for qualified investors, businesses, governments, institutions, and nonprofits from around the world seeking to drive sustainable economic development in Africa. Those who become members of Empower Africa get access to our digital business platform, have opportunities to engage Empower Africa's members and partner organizations, and can attend exciting networking events. Meet with and learn from renowned speakers at one of our virtual networking events, where you can build business relationships with experts in your field and find new partners to offer your services to. Member companies can also have a booth on the conference floor and engage a vetted and quality community that would be interested in their products and services. For investors who are looking for deals or entrepreneurs who have exciting projects, becoming a member means you get deal flow or raise capital on the Empower Africa Business Network. This platform is a private business network with dedicated marketplaces and focused sector and country chat rooms to do business and stay connected from anywhere in the world. Become a member of Empower Africa today and drive business in Africa.
Now, speaking of bringing good people together, it's my pleasure and honor to welcome the Executive Director of Volcani International Partnership Ventures, Danielle Abraham. Danielle,
thanks so much, Joel.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very
How
much.
are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. A bit hot. I'm sitting in Tel Aviv.
Well, thank you so much. We are very excited, and thank you for taking the time to take your busy time to speak to us. Thank you. Before we start, I just want to point out that Danielle and I we've known each other for quite a while. It was in 2015, in September 2015, at a Mass Challenge Accelerator program in Tel Aviv that I attended, that we first met, right?
Yes, which was now 6 years ago.
Which has been 6 years ago. And also, we happen to live not far away from each other.
That is true. Since we've reconnected.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you, Danielle. On the right-hand side, there's a Q&A link there. If you have any questions, just pop your questions there. So Danielle, I've got a couple of questions for you. First question is, I want to hear about your personal background, where you grew up and your career till now.
Okay, so even though I've been in Israel for 11 years, my accent immediately gives it away. I'm also originally from London. I grew up in England. I did what every good, aspiring development actor wants to do. And I went to university to study music, actually. And I left with a music degree and I went to work for the British government, where I found, I don't know if anyone knows this, there's a fantastic British TV sitcom called Yes, Prime Minister, which really is a comical look on the bureaucracy of the British government. And I found myself living Yes, Prime Minister's script, and it was just awful. And I got fed up with the bureaucracy. And one day when I was in England, I met an elderly Israeli gentleman called Yitzhak, who was standing and speaking at this event about the good old days of Israel and the time when David Ben-Gurion and Golda Meir, our historic legendary leaders, were actually establishing the state and established what is now known as Mashav, which is Israel's Agency for International Development, and his role in establishing the agricultural arm for that. And I thought, why the hell am I sitting suffering in the British government when I can go and suffer in the Israeli government? So that's exactly what I did. I actually quit my job for the British government when everyone thought I was mad. I moved to Israel and I joined the Israeli Foreign Ministry to work for Mashav. And I was there for about just over 4 years, really leading Israel's work with vis-a-vis the UN and the integration into the OECD development bodies. And once again, I got very frustrated and fed up with bureaucracy. And I thought there must be a different way to do this. And that's how slowly I came to be where I am today.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's amazing. Can you share some of the stories of how the NGO and its mission came to be?
Yes, of course. And I'd also like to touch upon the name because people get very confused, the name Volcani, volcanoes. So it was actually just one day minding my own business, doing some work on solar energy in Africa, when I got a call from somebody and he said, Danielle, you have to do me a favor. Come and meet the Director General of the Volcani Center. And I didn't know what he was talking about. Now, for everybody in the audience today, the Volcani Center is Israel's leading agricultural R&D center. And it was established way before the State of Israel in 1921. So this year it's celebrating its 100 years. And it's really been the driving force behind Israel's agricultural transformation and its renowned innovation. And the name comes from the man who established it, Mr. Vilkansky, nothing to do with volcanoes. So he asked me to come and meet the Director General, and they asked me to do a bit of consulting on the side. And I was really blown away by what I discovered. So this is a government agency staffed by about 1,000 people, primarily scientists doing the R&D, really behind the scenes in the innovation side of things. And every week there was a different high-level delegation. I'm talking presidents, prime ministers, ministers of agriculture, CEOs of the largest global corporations like Jack Ma. When he came to Israel, he went to Volcani. And every week there was a different high-level delegation, and they asked the same thing, which was, well, how on earth did you create this agricultural transformation in Israel? It doesn't make any sense. And if you guys did it, why can't we? Can you help us? And these scientists said, well, hang on a minute. This is not really our role. We're the scientists. We're in the lab. So I'm really sorry. We would love to help, but we can't. And that's how we found this massive gap that needed filling. So that's where the NGO and our mission today was born. Volcani International Partnerships, we're an NGO and we're affiliated with the Volcani Center, Israel's R&D center. And our mission is really to share Israel's agricultural experience, expertise, and innovation capacity with partners around the world. So now when anyone comes to visit, whether it's the president of, Rwanda and says, well, can you help? We say, yes, we can.
That's amazing. Can you share some of your recent activities and the plan for the future?
Yes, well, I would love to be able to tell you what we had planned before COVID intervened. They say man plans and God laughs. So we had a lot of fantastic plans in Africa, actually, for the last year. But COVID has proven very difficult because it means our expert teams, what we do is we commonly curate teams of different Israeli agricultural experts and send them out around the world, have been grounded. But this, on the other hand, led to some creativity and some pivoting. So one of the things we've done recently is actually launched an online agricultural extension program called Israel AgriWeb. It was in response to the Minister of Agriculture in the Bahamas, who asked for a favor and said, Danielle, could you do a small online course for 70 farmers in the Bahamas on smart farming from Israel? Get some of your top experts, just put them online, just 70 farmers in the Bahamas. And because we're doing a consultancy project with them, I said, you know what, it's okay, we'll do the short course for 70 farmers. So I gave that mission to my team. I went off on maternity leave, and lo and behold, within 10 days of launching the registration, we had over 2,600 people show up.
Wow.
So it's really taken on a life of its own. And what we're
Wow.
trying to do, agricultural extension is so difficult in so many places. The extension services are notoriously underfunded. They're very weak. People really lack access. The smallholder farmers lack access to knowledge. There's a serious gap. And if you've got private extension, your private extension agent comes with an agenda. And so what we're trying to do is bring Israel's agricultural extension system and its experts to those farmers wherever they may be. So we are relaunching more programming across the Caribbean region, and we are going to start looking at Africa as well.
Wow, that's incredible. And what are you looking for? I mean, who would you like to connect with on the Empower Africa business community in general? And also, we have so many members, people who are listening to you right now.
I mean, I think we're very open to connect with anyone who wants to learn more or potentially partner to bring in the Israeli agricultural experience, expertise, technological innovations. We're very much about putting the expertise foremost in our partnerships. And those partnerships may well be advisory and consultancy projects, launching agricultural centers of excellence. We have a few requests from different governments, but really all kinds of governments or investors, donor players, or other partners that are looking to strengthen their programming or activities with Israeli agricultural expertise.
Wow, amazing. Now, final question. Now, to sum up, we ask this to anyone we're interviewing. Can you share a favorite quote or saying and explain why you chose it and what it means to you?
Yes, so I already referenced him once, but our first prime minister in Israel, David Ben-Gurion, is renowned for saying that in Israel, in order to be a realist, you must believe in miracles. Yeah. And I love that quote because I think it goes to the heart and the essence of the Israeli people as a stubborn people who are not willing to give up for anything. And it really encapsulates the agricultural story here. It makes no sense that Israel created this agricultural miracle and emerged as a global leader. Yet we did it here, and we really truly believe that other nations can also do it if they follow certain practices and really are committed in terms of budget and government and things like that. So that's my quote. That's why I think it's special. It really pushes our work and helps our partnership.
Actually, I heard that quote back in 2015 at the Mass Challenge program.
Someone that was me.
Someone actually mentioned it. So that's incredible. Well, thank you so much, Danielle. Thank you. I'm going to see if we have any questions.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question from Akona Makashalala. Are you able to match expertise with funding within a territory?
I'm not quite sure I understand the question. If there is a request for specific expertise, if that expertise exists in Israel, we can bring it to you. Yes.
Okay.
So I give an example. We had a request from the government in Sierra Leone for advisory services on rice. And we were the first people to tell them that Israel, we are not the experts for rice. So we were very, very clear about that. So if the expertise exists in Israel, yes, we can bring it and put it together.
Wonderful. And I have a question for you. Is there a specific country that you currently focus on, or countries in Africa?
No, there are not specific countries. We were meant to be launching a program called the Israel Africa Pioneer Program in March 2020 in Malawi. Everyone knows what happened in March 2020. That was the outbreak of Corona. And the Pioneer Program was really choosing successful agricultural entrepreneurs, those stars that are really shining, and putting the whole weight of Israel's agricultural expertise, innovations, and advisory services behind them to help them multiply their impact. So we do have plans when we're able to do that in Malawi with our pioneer that we've already chosen, Nagata, and also in Tanzania with the Tanzanian Agricultural Development Bank.
Wow. Well, thank you for that. There is another question from Janet Pahima. What are some of the hot topics? what are some of the hot topics of Volcani?
So I think the hottest topic right now is actually AI in agriculture. We actually, together with Volcani, a few months back, we just secured $4 million in funding to launch Israel's one and only AI Center for Agricultural Research. And it's actually one of the first centers in the world. Only America have just beaten us to it, but only literally by a matter of months. And I think this is incredibly exciting because if you're familiar with a lot of the other industries in AI has revolutionized how other industries work, whether it's transport or health or manufacturing. And to date, it hasn't specifically been applied to agriculture. What they've been doing is repurposing algorithms from other fields. So this new center will really put AI and all of its power at the forefront of agriculture. And I think it's exciting to do in Israel because of all of the R&D and the high-tech companies that we have here, meeting the agricultural expertise. That's my favorite.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. We'll take one more question from Isaac Ntako. How do we access your organization, and what's your strategy for entering the African continent?
So to access us, you can just take my email or LinkedIn and shoot me a message. I'm sure I am really ready to respond. And our strategy, to be honest, today Israeli expertise and experience is so much in demand. Our strategy has actually been the opposite. We've had every business development official's dream job in that we're having to be very selective where and when we go because we've been overwhelmed with requests for assistance. So our strategy at the moment is to look at who the partner is and their reputation and their sincerity, and really to understand where we can bring the most impact. That's our strategy. So if we've got requests from 3 different governments and some NGOs or international organizations, we really have to assess where we think we can bring the most value. So that's our strategy at the moment.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. If you can also just on the chat, just leave your details there for those members who are currently who are listening to us, that'd be great. Well, Danielle, thank you so much for joining us. And for me, it's even more exciting just thinking back in 2015 when we met then, you know, the whole group of 60 odd people who were in that room in Caesarea.
Thank you, Joel. And I just want to get on stage for a minute, Danielle, to really thank you as well for the great work that you're doing and Volcani and for being part of our community. And Volcani is indeed such an amazing institution. And it's so great to see the leadership role that you're taking at Volcani to really get out there and connect all the knowledge that and experience that was accumulated in Israel. We could see how much it helped Israel establish himself from really building that backbone, that foundation to the economy, to the whole innovation in the tech sector that we're experiencing in Israel, which tech is also really transforming countries and sectors all over the world. So it's very interesting to see how agriculture and the Volcani Institute created such a backbone in Israel, and that Volcani is now as well really getting into the AI, taking a lead into the next generation here. And we're so excited that you are focused on building partnerships and sharing that knowledge and wisdom in Africa, because I think that one of the things that we're looking at, the team here in Israel, is seeing how we could get the innovation to Israel, and specifically agriculture, how much of a critical role it is to building the economies and in growing the economy in these emerging countries. So you have such a important role. You have such a leadership position now, and I want to thank you again for taking the time and sharing your knowledge and wisdom with the community. And we very much wish you and the community much success in working together. So thank you, and
Thank
God
you
bless.
very much for having me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Danielle. Thank you, and thank you, Ezzy, as well. Next week, we'll be hosting Stephen Friedmatter, who's the CEO of SF Ventures. It's going to be on Monday at the same time, 5 p.m. Central African time. And thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time to join us. And I wish you to have a great afternoon wherever you are. or if it's in the morning, you're in a different time zone, we wish you well, and I'll let you go and network. Thank you again. Take care for now.